Hello everyone, I'm AnimusJ. Welcome to another Minecraft video.
And welcome back to the Realms SMP. In the last episode, we built the hyper beam. Look at that beautiful, beautiful thing. But today what we're going to do is, well, we're going to build this thing that I already built. Yeah, I accidentally deleted my intro clip, so this is a re-recording, but that's fine, because this is going to be a tutorial video on how to build a moss block farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. If you're on Java, don't build this because it's got a lot of unnecessary things that you don't need to do. On Bedrock, though, yeah, we're special, aren't we? We're special. So, this is, I'll show you the, geez. Okay, so let me show you how it works, and then I'll show you how to build it. I just stand right here, and we get mossy blocks. But we also get mossy carpet, and we get azalea bushes, we get the flowering azalea bushes, we get all of it. You get tons and tons and tons of moss blocks, mossy carpet, all that kind of stuff off of this. It is bone meal dependent, just throwing it out there. So the first thing that I had to do, and the first thing you're gonna have to do in order to build this, is clear out an area. Okay, and it's all cleared out, and it's time to start building it. And I don't remember if I mentioned, but I am going to teach you guys how to do this. So just understand that when you build this, the mechanics are going to change, but you shouldn't have to modify your farm by very much when they do change. Okay, easy peasy. Now we're going to start with the clock, and just kind of. This is kind of what you're gonna need roughly, kind of, sort of, a little bit. Guys, it's not easy to do a tutorial in survival mode, okay? I'm gonna do my best. Oh, panda. Okay, all right. So, at the back end, basically the opposite end of where you want to be farming, what you're gonna do, you're gonna put a block, a repeater facing away, okay? So I'm gonna be standing over here harvesting all my blocks, all right? And the dogs are going nuts because someone's at the door. Dang it! So, as I was saying, block, repeater, into the block, torch on the back side of that. What you're gonna do is put another block on top of that one, a repeater right there, place a block right there. So you should have, get rid of that, you don't need that one. You should have something looking just like this at this point. Go ahead and extend out those repeaters to 4 ticks, both of them, okay? Then what you're gonna do is you're going to place another block there, which, by the way, if you don't know how I'm placing the blocks against the repeaters like that, you crouch and then place the block. Look at this panda doing all kinds of tricks. It's pretty cool, he's showing off. All right, now then, this block right here, what we're building is we're building the timing to create the smooth stone. So redstone dot up there, and you can see we get a repeating pattern. Perfect. That is exactly what yours should look like if you're following along correctly. So now we're going to add on a block to each side of that, add redstone dust to each one of those, and then you are going to take 3 normal pistons, where I know they're here they are. Okay, 3 normal pistons. 1, 2, and 3. Then what you're going to do is come above them, and you're going to put 3 dispensers. 1, 2, and 3. Come around to the back side over here, and what you're going to do is hold crouch and place redstone over top of each one of those. Now, I really don't want to deal with all of this noise, so I'm going to add 1 more block right there. I'm going to place a lever on the block, and then I'm going to activate it, and what that should do once I extend my redstone is stop our clock from happening. Perfect. This is what we want. Now, underneath here is where your lava is going to go into each one of these, but we're not going to put it in there yet, because otherwise, if you put it in now, something is bound to go wrong. You're going to die. I promise. That is what 100% what's going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to close in our pistons like so. And what we're going to do for water is we're going to waterlog our pistons. So I'm actually going to come up and break the redstone right here for now so my pistons are retracted. And then what I'm going to do is hold crouch. Oh, hold on. Let me put glass here. Okay, so I have a row of glass underneath here. That's not actually entirely necessary, just helpful. And then what I'm going to do is hold crouch and click on each one of the pistons. And then what that's going to do is waterlog that piston, and that's what we're going to use in order to create our stone. And there we go. We have all three. I'm going to go ahead and just put some glass right there to keep that contained. If you want to have glass down right here, you can, but honestly, it doesn't actually matter. Next, what you're going to want to do is build up your containment area so that when your lava does come out, it's not going to spill out everywhere. So you're going to need it to wrap around, but you need to leave this area directly in front of your pistons open because that's where all your stone is going to push forward through. Let's come around to here, and before we forget, let's re-add our redstone. There we go. So you're going to add a block above the middle dispenser. That's going to have a spot of redstone on it. The glass right here, you're going to add a repeater, and you're just going to leave it on the default amount of ticks. And then that repeater right there is going to be going into your fourth dispenser. So you're going to place it just like such, facing that way. Now, your moss block, which you only need one of in order to get started, is going to go right up against it like that. Coming up to the top, you're going to put a block above your repeater, a redstone torch coming off of it, put a piece of glass against your dispenser. It does need to be either glass or otherwise a slab in order to connect the redstone but not activate your dispenser. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a piston right on top of that facing into your moss block like so. What this is going to do is clear all the mossy carpet, the grass, all those kinds of things off of your moss block, because currently in Bedrock, if anything is on top of that moss block and you bone meal it, it's not going to spread. So just to show you so far what we have going on, we have the clock, which is going to create your lava. The lava will tick out while the pistons are extended. The pistons will retract, allowing the water, lava to meet up. And I did it in this exact way and timing because Bedrock is super inconsistent with the speeds of lava and water. And I was getting a lot of cobblestone at first. And so once I got down to this kind of timing and coupling the pistons with the, not the droppers, the dispensers, that gave me 100% success rate on creating stone because you cannot turn cobblestone into moss. So before we go too much further, let's go ahead and put our lava buckets in, and we will test out our stone generator to make sure that it is actually working. Go ahead and flip the lever, and we should start getting smooth stone, and there we go. Okay, go ahead and turn that off. Now you can load this with bone meal and it should convert some of it into moss, but the issue that we face with that is that just like with the top block, when you have mossy carpet and things like that, it will not convert into moss. So we have the issue of having to knock that stuff off, but because of the way mossy carpet is, it's allowed to be pushed by pistons. We had to do a little bit of extra tricky stuff. It's not hard, it's just a little harder than it should be. So what we're gonna do is one block in front of your moss block, you're going to place your sticky pistons just like this, lining up with where your smooth stone is coming out of, so you can see that there's air above them currently. And then what we're going to do is we are going to extend this redstone signal down. So we're gonna come down like this around, and then I'm going to go ahead and dig these out. And I'm going to put down my deep slate because I don't like putting redstone on top of grass. So then let's go ahead and just connect this up, and it looks like I need more redstone. And there we go. And I did make a mistake. Break this one right here, and you're going to put a repeater on that, and we're just going to leave it at the default amount of ticks. So what this is going to do is we have this signal powering the pistons. You can see everything is powered right now, actively powered. But what's going to happen is these pistons are going to push. The 1 tick difference between those pistons and these pistons will cause these to be down, allowing the stones push across them. And then after these retract, these will then push up. Now, the reason these are pushing up is because pushing up will break mossy carpet and everything that's on them. Dig out 2 blocks in front of each one of your pistons, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put down hoppers. I'm going to put all of mine facing off to this side because this is the side that I'll be standing on as I break them. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and clear those out, and that's where we can put our chest. And there we go. And if you didn't already, I'm gonna go ahead and put a hopper on top of there, carefully avoiding the hot lava. And there we go, a chest right there. Speaking of the hot lava, make sure nothing is flammable. The chests, you know, we kind of don't have a way around that other than if you use a shulker box, but they should be okay because it's a reasonable distance and the lava isn't normally, well, it is left on, I guess, in this state, but you can actually time it when you shut it off. Time it so that the lava's not out. But what we're actually ready to do is load this up with bone meal, not white dye, and test and make sure that everything is working. Now, with the lever on, our hopper is actually locked. As you can see, we have no bone meal flowing through, so I'm just gonna make sure that I put some directly into the dispenser, and you don't need to worry about that when it's running because the timing allows plenty of bone meal to be able to pass in and keep things going. So we should be ready to flip the switch and start getting our moss. And there we go. Now you can see we're getting more than moss, and what's going to happen is that all these azalea bushes and mossy carpet and seeds are going to start collecting and building up, and some of it is going to stay right there. If you don't care about that, great, you're done. But if you don't want those things building up, then we're going to go one step further, and we're going to do a water pushing system that's going to turn on every so often in order to push everything down into our hoppers. So let's go ahead and turn this off really quick. Now, even if this is all that you're doing, and you can see we even built up quite a bit around here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up these walls, but I need to tell you something very important regarding this. Do not put anything above the area that's being converted, because I, in all of my experimentations with this, found that even if I have a block right here, it prevented the moss from forming, from taking over the stone blocks. So I would have a much lower success rate anytime I had any kind of blocks above this area. These are the only 2 that I have above them, and that's also part of the reason why we have the pistons going right here. So don't add any blocks above it. Let's go ahead and take this out, and I'm going to make it a 3rd row higher. That way all the stuff that falls off will stay on top of the blocks. Okay, so for the water collection system, come even with where your lava spits out basically, and you're going to go 1, 2, and that's the block that you're going to be breaking. Okay, should be in front of the wall that you already put up. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come around, I'm going to break that just temporarily, and I'm going to put my dispenser facing in like so. Let's go ahead and put our moss block back so that we don't forget about it. Okay, now this is probably the most confusing part about it. It's not that hard, it's just slightly confusing, and I'll explain it as we go. Standing over top of your your dispenser, what you're going to do is go out by 2 blocks, break that one, and then you want an observer looking at that block. So let me see if I can get this to be just right. May have to step back a little bit, get the corner just right. There we go. So the arrow on the top should be pointing at your dispenser. Now what you're going to do is add another block towards the front of your farm, break that one, and then your second observer is going to be watching that block. Put another block below that one, break that. And for this next part, pay close attention to where I'm using glass and where I'm using solid blocks because it does matter. You're going to do 2 glass blocks straight out from your observers. And then you're going to, on the outside, you're going to put 1 on both sides of that. And then towards the front of the farm, you're going to have a block right there. You're going to put a repeater pointing into your farm, and you're going to put it at 4 ticks. And as you can see, that's already causing our dispenser to activate. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come back on here by 1 and 2. And this is going to be the clock so that every so often we're going to activate the water to push all the extra stuff down into our hoppers. This way we don't crash our world. So what you're going to do is take a comparator and you're going to put 2 of them alternating. It doesn't matter which one is facing which direction. You're going to connect them with redstone here, here, and then you're going to have a repeater be on this extended block right here. Set that out to 4 ticks. And then you should be able to stand right over the edge, look at the bottom of that block, place an observer so that the redstone side is facing up, and put a spot of redstone on top of that. And what we're going to do underneath here essentially is we're just going to build an etho hopper clock. So the block on the ground that your observer is basically looking at, you're going to put a comparator facing away. On top of that, you are going to put a piston and then a block behind that with a redstone spot on top of it. Then you're going to put 2 hoppers facing into each other, just like this. Hold crouch in order to place the hopper into the other one. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have a comparator going away from the hopper into a block with a spot of redstone on top of it and a sticky piston in front of it. Last thing you need to do is add 1 redstone block to either side. Doesn't matter which one. Now, inside of your hopper, what you're going to do is you're going to put 3 stacks of anything, whatever you want, 3 stacks. And what that's going to do is create a timer that when those 3 stacks run out, the circuit is going to activate and it's going to flush your system. So add a bucket of water into your dispenser. And then let's go ahead and connect up the wall, leaving a 1 space gap between, basically put your wall one beyond where your hoppers are. Go ahead and close that in as well. This way the water all stays contained and doesn't ruin all of our redstone. Okay, adding in my 3 stacks of items. That is, depending on where you put your redstone, going to activate things. That's okay, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. Come around to this side. You're gonna put a solid block there and there. And then what you're going to do is connect redstone up just like so. Now the reason we're doing that is because we want to be able to shut off our farm. Hello, Mr. Creeper, I see you. You're just checking on how things are going. Appreciate you. So the creeper distracted me from finishing my explanation. The reason that we're connecting up the redstone to the bottom pistons is that way when the water turns on, the pistons will extend, and that will allow the water to push everything to the edge, and then it'll come back down when the water goes off. All the items will fall down into the hopper for collection. Okay, so in order to turn off the hopper clock the same time you turn off everything else, what you're going to do is add a block right there with a spot of redstone. Extend that one right there, and then you're going to place your lever up here. That way it activates this, and then it powers this block, which activates this. Hi, sir, please don't. I'm so close to being done. One more thing we do need to add is a button right there, and then I'm going to add a piece of glass there, and then I'm just going to break this out in order to access our chest. And we should be ready to go. I'm going to remove some of the items from the clock just so that I can speed up the demonstration for you guys. But if I grab a hoe, because the hoe is fastest for mining moss, I'm going to turn the farm on. I'm gonna come around to this side and you can see it's already working. I'm just gonna stand here holding left click or holding brake. And actually I forgot, we need to put something other than that glass there so that I can just continually hold it, not have to worry about breaking the glass. I'll probably put obsidian block right there. But if you watch, as time goes on, there it goes, the water flushes, it lowers, and then we get all of our items down into there. There's no more up on top. And then right here, I'm gonna put a log for now because a hoe is gonna take a long time to break a log, so the way that it interrupts it, it should be good. But if we leave this running for quite a long time, let's say, I don't know, an hour? Let's see what we got. So I did run into a couple of issues at 30 minutes, and that was my timer for the 1 hour, by the way. So the first issue I ran into is I ran out of bone meal, so I did restock it. I did pause my timer to make sure we got in a full 30 minutes. The other thing was the hoe broke that log that I had put there extremely quick, but the obsidian held up quite well. I changed this out for obsidian, so this way when you let things run for too long, a mistake or whatever happens, it'll just stop right there. So let's take a look at what we got. Oh yeah, also I ran out of space. I had to go to a second chest. Oh my goodness, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's too many stacks to count. Not a whole lot of the flowering azalea. Well, I guess actually it is a reasonable amount compared to the normal azalea. Tons of seed, not exactly useful, and we'll go over what you can do with that here in a second. And then we have all of this, 23. So that 23 stone was me either resetting the machine, clearing out all of it to do this, or there was a period of time where I was breaking stone with my hoe because I wasn't paying attention. But that's that's it, guys. So one thing you can do in order to keep up on your bone meal is you could do a filter into a composter, and you could compost some of these things in order to get extra bone meal to be able to put it up to there. Obviously, we're not going to go over that in this, but we have so many moss blocks now that we can get started taking over the realm with our plants. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope that it helps you get tons and tons of moss. And as I said, the mechanics will change, but the farm is not going to change by very much because most of what I implemented into the farm is kind of a safety feature. I am going to see if maybe I can make it a little bit more efficient, but honestly, it's almost as good as it gets in regards to current mechanics. So that is going to do it for today. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. And if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around a whole lot more often. I'm AnimusJ, and I'll see you next time.